Oh boy, I got a spicy one for you today. Let's get into it. Got a prototype in from Devo Knives. You may, if you watch Kevin's video, have an inkling or an idea as to which one this is. He does have a video out there talking a little bit about it. And if you didn't know, Vosteed is the OE on this, so it's something really special. Let's jump in here, take a look at what we got. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Typical Vosteed taco there. I did wrap it up intentionally, guys. Trying to think of which way it's facing. Oh yeah, got it facing the right direction. Ooh. Oh, check that out. We got the Devo Nip L here with Vosteed's top liner lock. Really excited to check this one out, guys. Very unique build. And I really love the nip in its original form factor, and we'll bring that out here in just a little bit for you guys to check out. And then when Kevin talked about the idea of making a large version of it, I was like, that would be really cool because it's got a great utility shape to it. It feels like it could be very comfortable ergonomically in a larger fun factor. So he mentioned he wanted to, because at that time, it's when the top liner lock from Vosteed started to first come out, he wanted to reach out to Vosteed about working with them with that top liner lock. Oh, that is good. That is really good. Really good. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a nip large size. I mean, this really truly does look like it. Got the milling here on the scales themselves. I don't remember. I think it was just standoffs. No. The Nip L had the backspacer with the lanyard post integrated into it. This feels really thin. I might be thinking of the Ankilo, so I may be getting myself a little mixed up, but this feels really thin for a top liner lock. I like the size of this. It's got decent girth considering it's got the flat scales with the contoured. So since it's not contoured, it's nice to actually have the little bit of extra thickness on there. Right out the gate, the jimping's okay. I'd like it to be just a little bit sharper. Not much, just a little bit. It's pretty good. It's okay grip, but I feel like if I had my gloves on, probably would slip off of that. Now, I do know, and I talked to Kevin a little bit about some of the changes that are going to be coming into, or that he's requesting to come to this particular model. So I'm just going to touch on a few things that I gave him feedback on right out the gate with it. So I took it downstairs and I did a little bit of cutting. He said it'd be okay to cut with it and then to take it apart, which we'll do here in a little bit as well. I'm going to do that all in one video, but really this came with a nice factory edge. Has a nice tall flat grind. It feels really thin behind the edge, and then again really tall flat grind with the satin finish. Just absolutely moved through the materials perfectly, and of course it absolutely was fantastic with those utility cuts. Great pinch grip, guys. Love the position on this one. Very comfortable in the hand. It felt like it moved fairly light, so I'll be curious to see what the weight comes in at. But again, it is a prototype, so any changes could affect that by the time we actually get to production. But I like the weight on this. Feels very comfortable in hand. The only thing that I sent back to Kevin that I noticed is I would like to extend that forward choil a little bit. I am feeling just a little bit of the edge of the blade for myself when I'm in that trigger grip position. I mean, it's like right there where if I went to hit it and I could accidentally catch the edge. So he did say they asked to increase the length of the forward choil ever so slightly. So that is something that when I spoke with him, he did mention that would change. The other thing I pointed out that I did notice is the pocket clip seems a little out of place. And when I was holding it with cutting, I did notice it kind of sitting a little low, kind of hitting the meat for me on my palm in particular. But they chamfered it really nicely as well. So while I do kind of feel it there, it's not a hot spot to where it's pinching me. So what I had suggested, because it looks like, and we'll look at it when we take it apart and get a closer look at it, the screw is on the inside of the scale for both the filler tab and the pocket clip. And they did inset it into the scale. So I think if they took that and just pulled that up to the top here. So I meant to bring something out to demonstrate this, but I'm just going to use the end of the pen. So right now it's sitting from the clip all the way out to the tip with the button right here. What I would do is I would just pull it up and over. So that would kind of bring the end of the pocket clip here, and then it would kind of center it up a little bit. I think that would work really good. But this clip is fantastic. It goes in and out of the pocket really nicely. Plenty of clearance. It's got good strength, so it retains in the pocket well, and it doesn't snag going out. But the button action on it as well feels nice. I do like it. It takes a moment when transitioning back, because the only other one that I have that's the top liner lock in my collection right now is actually the Hedgehog, and that button's way back here. And actually, hold 1 second. I did want to bring that out because that's what I was really pulling for with Kevin to do, is to get him to move that button up into a natural position. So when you come out of here, the natural position to me is here, but I have to climb down on the knife on here, which is a minor nitpick, to close it. So I was really just like asking Kevin, if you're going to do this, can you move that button up? Plus, I think it just looks more natural up there than it does way down here on the body for this one. So he did do that. I believe some of the conversation with Vosteed was concerned about lock strength on here. And again, Kevin said I could do whatever I needed to with this. Yeah, so I have no concerns about the lock strength and the way this lock works, and we'll take a look at it. And again, this is a prototype, but we'll take a look at it here in a few minutes. Let's do some quick size comparisons, and we'll do the disassembly in lieu of a score, because this is, again, a production piece. So it is not really something that I want to score until I have like the final product in hand. All right, on the table, we do have the Manix 2 lightweight on the top for a full-size knife comparison, and you can see that the Nip L is a little bit smaller, even though it is still full size. And then I have the mini growler underneath. I wanted something really small to give some perspective to those out there that are curious about the size of this one. I'm going to bring out 2 more that I think will also really help. All right, guys, I did bring out my Devos. I have the Fireball and the Tall Boy out here, and as you can see, the Nip L lands right in between the 2 of these. Fantastic size for EDC. Let's grab the scale, check the weight, and then we'll take this one apart. All right, guys, I'm going to bring the scale out here. We're going to weigh it, but I do have that caveat. Again, this is a prototype. There are things that I know that Kevin is working on with this, so there will be changes that could affect the weight one way or the other. Right now, coming in at 4.7, I imagine at production we're going to be looking at around 4.3 to 4.5 ounces, but it doesn't feel like a 4.7 ounce knife in the hand, really, because of the position that you have and the purchase that you have on this knife. It's really excellent, feels very comfortable and natural in the hand. Again, doesn't carry heavy. You know, it's a deceptive 4.7. All right, let's go ahead and move the scale out of the way. I'm going to grab my tools and we're going to take a quick look inside. All right, guys, all the tools that I use for the assembly and disassembly, or disassembly and reassembly, are going to be linked down below. Even these little circuit board Q-tips that I use to clean the detent ball, all going to be linked below with the applicator and the lube that I use and everything like that. So let's go ahead, take this one apart, get a close-up look at it. Got my T8 here. We're going to go ahead and start with the body screws. Come right out of the knife. Nice, very easy disassembly. I believe that's weird. It's kind of catching up there a little bit. Yeah, steel hardware, which I think is going to play a factor in helping to keep the cost of this down, and going to really help prevent any potential stripping that could happen because of the way that this is designed. It is a titanium scale. It's screwed into the scale on the other side, and that'll really help prevent any sort of stripping. All right, let's go ahead and pop off. There it goes. Okay, I was like, am I missing something? All right, so we got the button out. They have the Devo written on the inside. Can't really see what that says. And there's some markings here. I'm not 100% sure what that is. But the way that this works, I'm going to go ahead and take it all the way apart. I want to show you kind of how the blade sits in here. He already put skiffs in there. Nice. The way that this works when it sits on the pivot, and the reason this lock works so nicely is because it's actually locking up on the back of the knife and the top of the spine here. So you're getting dual lockup when the pivot's engaged, and that's really why you get such a solid lockup with it, is because of the fact that it has 2 points of contact in line here, and it has a really good detent tune on it, so I'm not really going to try to do anything to change that on it. But if you wanted, you could tune that with the lock bar. And here's where I was saying the pocket clip screw, what I would do is just probably move that up. I think that's going to be a T6 anyway. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, internal screws are T6s, just in case you were curious. But I would literally just take this, and you see how it's mounted here. I would just bring this steel down and then just mount the pocket clip up higher. Actually, let me just take it off. I want to show you what that'll look like. So what I'm saying I would do is I would just bring this up here like this. It doesn't even have to go all the way to the end, but I would at least put it right there. I think that line looks cleaner. I think that spot looks cleaner. And then you can just, instead of having the metal go up, you can have that metal come down and just have it mount inside there, and then you have it fastened to the steel, which I think will be good. All right, we got our pins back in there. We got our knife line back up. So since I have it apart and I've been fidgeting with the ever-living heck out of it, lots of markings in here, I'm going to go ahead, clean everything up, re-lube it since I have it apart anyway. Really easy to take apart and put back together too. I love this disassembly, super easy. You could remove this if you wanted to tune it any, and then if you really wanted to get in there with the button, you could take this apart and get to that screw as well. So yeah, I can feel that pivot just being pulled in. All right, let me see. Locked up solid. Still centered. Yep, we are centered. Everything feels really smooth now that it's been cleaned out. Let me move this out of the way and we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Okay, so that was the disassembly. Got to take a look in there, and you got to see how this lock sandwiches between the stop pin, touches the back of the knife, and then touches the base of the spine of the blade of the knife on the blade. So you got really 3 points of lockup with this, making it super solid. The button is in a fantastic place. The detent tuned beautifully on this, and I did want to just kind of compare to, I have the nip light, I don't have the original nip. And just so you can see, they transferred everything over nicely. I think the only thing I noticed is the jimping on this goes all the way back. It looks like they stopped one short. I'm not really sure why they did that. I think aesthetically it looks really nice though. And then you can see the change in the pocket clip. And then of course they did the geared back spacer versus the through lanyard hole on here in the way that this one was designed. I really think with the larger one you don't need the lanyard, so I do like that. Instead of the mid-length jimping, they did 3/4 length jimping on here. I will say that the jimping on the nip is actually, or the nip light is actually a little bit tighter, a little bit more aggressive, but they were able to really keep all of the things that I really loved about this. You do not need the lock bar access since you do have that top liner lock. The hole shape is the same. They adjusted it based off of where it was going to be located, and then with the top liner lock you do lose the low profile flipper tab on that, but I'm okay with that because I do like that top liner lock. You still get the extra mean of deployment if you can do the wrist flick aspect of it. I think that's really nice. Again, I'm not going to score this one. Just wanted to do, again, an overview, talk a little bit about it. To me, the two big things would be the larger sharpening choil for the forward finger, and then I would make adjustments so that this pocket clip can just be raised up, and then I think it looks better too where it was sitting on that scale when I showed you during the disassembly, and then you can match the filler tab up with that equally as well. I'm really excited about this one. I am definitely going to be grabbing one when it comes out. Elmax and titanium, T8 all throughout. It does ride-on bearings with skiff action, top liner lock. I think this is going to be an absolute home run. I can't wait to see the finished product. Let me know what you think about the Nip-L down in the comments below. Are you going to be getting one? Are you excited for this one? I definitely am. A shout out and thanks to my channel members out there. Affiliate links are down in the description. When you use them, it helps the channel. And if you enjoyed the content, definitely consider subscribing. I'm out of here, guys. Have a great week. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.